My husband had twins with my sister. I divorced him. His mother went pale. She didn't tell you. The thick glass coffee table in my lawyer's office was the only thing separating me from the two people who had destroyed my life. On one side sat my husband of 5 years, Thomas, looking aggressively at the ceiling, and next to him was my younger sister, Lily. Lily's hands were folded protectively over her noticeably round, pregnant stomach. She was expecting twins, and Thomas was the father. The betrayal had come to light just a month ago, a casual text message sent to the wrong group chat revealing a year-long affair. It felt like a double murder. My marriage and my sisterhood bled dry at the exact same time. I didn't shed a single tear as my lawyer slid the final divorce decree across the table. I picked up the pen and signed my name with a steady, unbothered hand. I pushed the papers back. It was over. I was free from the lies. Thomas scoffed, snatching his copy of the document. You know, Sarah, you're acting like a cold, heartless robot. Lily needed someone who actually cared about family. You were always too busy with your career to give me children, and now Lily is giving me two. We are going to build a real family with my mother at the family estate. You're just a bitter, lonely ex-wife now. Lily gave me a small, triumphant smile, the look of a sister who thought she had successfully stolen the crown. Don't be mad, Sarah. Love just happens. We didn't mean to hurt you. I stood up, smoothed down my blazer, and looked at them with pure, unadulterated pity. I genuinely wish you both exactly what you deserve, I said quietly, before turning on my heel and walking out. 2 hours later, I arrived at Thomas's family estate to pick up the very last of my personal belongings. I expected the house to be empty, but as I walked into the grand foyer, I found my former mother-in-law, Eleanor, sitting on the vintage sofa. Eleanor was a proud, old-money matriarch who valued family legacy above everything else. She had always been cold to me because I hadn't produced an heir for her precious family name. When she saw me carrying a duffel bag, her chin went up. "Ah, Sarah," Thomas called me. He told me the divorce is finalized. It's a shame it had to end this way, but a man needs a legacy. Lily is carrying the future of the Vance name. Twins, no less. A boy and a girl. It's a blessing. I stopped in my tracks, looking at Eleanor's proud, smiling face. A sudden, dark realization washed over me, followed by a wave of grim amusement. "A blessing, Eleanor?" I asked, setting my duffel bag down on the marble floor. "Of course," Eleanor said, smoothing her skirt. "Thomas will finally be a father. Our bloodline continues. I know you're bitter, Sarah, but Lily is a sweet girl. She's giving my son the family he always wanted." I took a deep breath, walking closer to her. "Eleanor, I am not bitter. In fact, signing those papers today was the happiest moment of my life. But I do feel a little sorry for you. Because you clearly don't know the truth." Eleanor's brow furrowed, her aristocratic demeanor slipping slightly. "What truth? What are you talking about?" "Thomas isn't the father of Lily's twins," I said clearly, my voice ringing out in the quiet foyer. "Thomas can't be the father of those twins." Eleanor laughed, a nervous, forced sound. "Don't be ridiculous. Lily swore it to him. They've been together for a year. The timeline is perfect." "The timeline doesn't matter, Eleanor. Biology matters," I replied smoothly, crossing my arms. 3 years ago, when Thomas and I were trying to conceive, we went to a top fertility clinic in the city. We ran every test imaginable. The doctors discovered that Thomas has an absolute, irreversible genetic condition. He is completely, 100% sterile. He cannot have biological children. Ever. Eleanor's laughter died instantly. The color began to drain from her face, leaving her skin a sickly, ghostly white. She stood up from the sofa, her hands trembling violently. No, that's a lie. You're just making things up to hurt us," Eleanor stammered, her voice losing its steady edge. "Thomas would have told me. He would have known." "Thomas does know," I said, looking her dead in the eye. "He was sitting right next to me when the specialist broke the news. But Thomas is a deeply insecure, arrogant man. He was so ashamed of his diagnosis, so terrified that you would find out your golden boy couldn't carry on the family name, that he begged me to keep it a secret. He told me we would tell everyone it was my medical issue. And because I loved him back then, I protected his pride. I let the whole family believe I was the barren one." Eleanor staggered backward, her hand flying to her mouth. Her eyes widened into a look of absolute horror as the pieces of the puzzle began to violently crash together in her mind. She didn't tell you," Eleanor whispered, her voice cracking, her face entirely pale. "Who, Lily?" I chuckled softly. Of course she didn't tell him. Lily has been secretly seeing her ex-boyfriend behind Thomas's back for months. I found out through the same mutual friends who leaked the affair to me. Lily got pregnant by a man who has absolutely nothing to his name, and she saw Thomas, with his massive inheritance and his mother's estate, as the perfect golden ticket. She targeted Thomas because she knew he was desperate for a family, and she knew he would blindly believe her. Eleanor collapsed back onto the sofa, looking like a woman who had just watched her entire world burn to the ground. My God, the estate. The inheritance. Thomas is setting up a massive trust fund for those babies today. He's putting Lily's name on the family accounts. Then I suggest you call your son right now, Eleanor, I said, picking up my duffel bag and slinging it over my shoulder. Because right now, my cheating ex-husband is celebrating a legacy that belongs to a complete stranger, and your precious family fortune is about to be handed over to a sister who lied to him from day one. I walked toward the grand double doors of the mansion, feeling lighter than air. Just as I opened the door to let the bright afternoon sunlight stream in, I turned back one last time to see Eleanor frantically dialing her phone, her voice screaming into the receiver in pure panic. I stepped outside, closed the door on their chaos, and walked away without a single regret.